Well, today's the first day that it is over freezing. So I think we need to start an outside project that we're not going to get finished. And that is steering box on this Jubilee Ford. So that's what we'll do right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rossi Oliver Man. This is the Jubilee Ford. That was my first tractor, and it has since developed a bad steering problem, which I assume one of the bearings on the top or bottom of that deal in there has self-destructed and is wedging itself through. So, looking at what's available and what's not, this could end up being a $20 fix or $1,000. So we're gonna hope for the less, but that usually never works out. And yeah, because then it leads one thing to another. How far do I go? Do I replace the steering wheel? It needs it. However, this is the original steering wheel. Sentimental like, I hate to get rid of it, but it's junk, it's time. We'll just see what we get into. But yeah, I spent the last 20 minutes playing Where's the Impact, and then I found it sitting on that 55 combine. It's been standing the whole time out through all this weather, so I'm sure that was good for it. But we're gonna find out shortly. I don't think that it's anything wrong with it, but you never know. Luckily, it was standing up where moisture would have to go sideways to get in it, versus if it was laying down where it would sit there full. Still, I don't prefer to do that, but all right, step one complete. I did not figure that that was going to be a problem. However, I also did not figure that the end of that was hollow. So now I'm thinking that I'm probably going to thread this back on most of the way and set up my pullers and then see if I can get it to pop loose. And then we'll, because I'm sure I'm not going to do it by hand. It's been on there too long. I'm also going to see how little I can take loose to get this off of here. I mean, all the sheet metal's in the way, but I'm hoping I can just take like the sides loose and then maybe just lift this dash off to get myself enough room. Then I don't have to, you know what I'm saying. I don't want to have to take more off than necessary. Although there again, it's probably time that it needs some attention. It's been pretty neglected. My cheapo paint job from a kid is wearing off. And we're not anywhere close to where we need to be, so that's great. Buddy the dog, what are you doing out there, pal? Checking it out? He's got something more important to do. He's not interested in what we're doing. Sure. I don't know why I expected that this would go simple. Nothing ever does. Also, as per usual, I'm in a rush situation, so I need to go here in a little bit. So we may not get very far before this ends. Oh, that ain't very good. Ooh. I don't know if we're going to get it with this puller, or if we're going to have to set up the... We're probably going to have to set up the other deal. The bearing splitter job. Good grief, that's tight. Yeah. Okay, well, That did nothing. Nothing at all. It did put a center punch in my acorn nut. I'm afraid this is not going to work. I'm going to have to dig out the bigger bearing splitter. I've got a ginormous one, but I don't know if I really want to do that. I mean, that would be like getting the right tool out for the job. Man! Okay. How far do we go here before we throw in the towel and heat it, maybe? We can spray some penetrating oil down in there. And that might be what we have to do, and just let it sit for a day or so. Because I didn't even get it to budge a little. And I don't really want to destroy more than I have to. Let me go get some spray. There might just be enough of this left to do this project. And maybe there's not. There we go. I don't know what's down that hole, but we'll put some down there. I did not expect this to be hollow. That's what's very puzzling to me. Also, I always assumed that this was a solid chunk, and maybe it's not, because I bent it pretty aggressively on the ends, or maybe it has like a protuberance or something. I don't know. I'm thinking of putting the tension back on it and then hitting it with a hammer like on the side here. And actually, probably more appropriately would be if there was a key, which I'm not seeing. So I wonder if it's just tapered. I suppose I could look on the internet, because these are the same steering boxes used on about everything. Even the Super 55, I think, is similar. However, it uses a different steering wheel. So, I don't know. We're going to find out. I thought it'd be so nice to get this apart and order parts so that they were ready whenever I had a chance. And so far, nothing is looking like it's going to go my way. Nope. Oh, yes, it did work. Just like a tie rod. Sweet. I thought for a minute it didn't, but it jumped up. Did it not? That wasn't just an illusion. There. Ew. 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 That's a lot of rust in there. Well, it's no wonder that she don't want to turn good, because that ain't very nice. But we're not done. So part of me says take the whole thing off and rebuild it. Another part of me says don't do that thing and just try to pull the top shaft out, which I think you can do by taking 4 bolts loose, but you may still have to take the whatchamee off. I think you do. The sector gears out, or at least thread this out while you go. I don't know. It may just be... I'm just going to take it apart. I mean, that was my plan. Take it off and work on a bench. But we need to get, oh, mouse house. That's good for it. We always like that. I hate to ruin their day, but I'm going to. All right, it's been a year since I have done this, but there's more here than meets the eye, as there are bolts inside under there, and I don't remember. I'm sure that it probably doesn't have the right fasteners anymore. That one sure doesn't back there. This one doesn't. But I don't remember how difficult that was to get to. Probably very difficult. Let's do this, just so we don't lose that. All right, too big. There we go. Ooh, this reminds me of another thing. What did I do with all those magnetic trays that I bought? I'm gonna have to acquire those real quick, and then I'm gonna have to acquire some wrenches for the inside, 'cause there ain't no way I'm getting those loose with what I brought. I don't even remember how I did that, to be quite honest. I was a little kid when I did it last time. See, it's missing the bolts here, otherwise there'd be some there. Yeah. So, magnetic trays, and probably a 7/16, ½ inch, 9/16, a bunch of those. And then maybe we can get farther along on this project. All right, tray. And service escape. So I think we got what we need. I bet I'm not gonna get this done before I have to leave. And now my phone's going like mad, so. All right. That'll come loose. See, what we want to do is twist off those nuts in the back that are into the sheet metal enclosure, you know, and then we'll never get it apart. Sure. Okay, of course this one's a different size because, yeah. When it's been in your family forever, stuff happens. I know I've had this all off of here though before, because I did have it painted up when I was little, and we took all this off and I gave it a cheapo paint job. The old Van Sickle paint, that was the go-to stuff back in the day. However, it does not hold up over time. Yeah, lighting is going to be a problem in here for you very shortly. Yeah, it's coming loose. I guess what I did was washer, a bunch of washers and stuff. This has like, which I'm not going to be able to really show you, I guess. But it has those where you don't need a nut on the backside. It's got like a nut captured in a sheet metal cage. I don't know what you call that exactly, but it's made into the sheet metal. And these are long since wore out. Like this one down here has been replaced too. This is not going to be a very nice video as far as quality, but I'm excited about playing outside, so that's why we're going for it. Okay, this one, now I'm going to probably have to switch back to the other side. Don't know if I can do it from here. Maybe. Would probably go a lot easier without 50 pounds of coats on. But you can't let wintertime fool you when it gets warm like this. If you think it's warm so you don't wear as much clothing, coats and stuff, and then you get violently sick. So I don't know. At least that's what I've determined. There's just no room in here. There it is. Okay, well, air cleaner's in the way. I could get to it back there and possibly use a ratchet, which I think I was smart enough to bring, wasn't I? Maybe. So if I were to wedge my hand up here somehow, it's not going to probably do it. Could we get... No. Almost. Not quite. Too bad. So sad. There it is. It's back farther. Man, I'm so close. But I don't know how. How did I do it before? I was a small child. That's how. And I had skinnier arms. Still had a fat body, but arms were skinny. Okay, if it's right there, I think maybe it's worth investigating the correct fasteners, because this is kind of a pain. Okay, that's not going to go. What's a guy do here? Oh, okay, I see. Doesn't make sense to you, but what's going on in there, the cage that nut was originally in is folded back, and it's causing me some issues. I don't really know what I'm going to do, to be quite honest here. Hope for the best. Did I try to turn it? I don't know if I did. I don't think we're getting anywhere on that job. I can feel the head of the thing, but I just can't get a wrench in there to get on it. This is where I get impatient and bad stuff starts to happen, because I lose my cool. I could potentially, what could I potentially do? Well, see, this piece should come up a little bit if it wasn't for the throttle stopping us. So if we can figure out how to take that loose. We're going to have to do that eventually. But I was hoping that I could just... I'm trying to cheat the system here instead of taking the whole sheet metal off, and that's my downfall. Thinking I could save myself work. It never works that way. Frustration. If I had enough gap, I'd consider just cutting it. And I might be there. I might be there. But what I'm going to have to do before too long is figure out how to get this loose from down up below, which I think it's just a cotter pin and this clamp. It may not even be that clamp, it may just be this cotter pin, and pull it straight up out of there. However, it's covered with 100 layers of rusty paint, and probably never gonna go. It'd be cool if it did. Oh, we're at 8% battery, folks. We gotta hurry. We're not gonna make it. Okay, well, we lost a washer. We got a spring. So that's good. We can find us another washer when the time comes. Hope our battery box doesn't interfere. However, I think it's going to, because why not, you know? Why not? Okay, now, I see now. I do have to take that clamp loose, because it actually is clamping the rod. That is the bracket, and then it just goes down longer for stability through there. And then, I don't know, the battery box looks kind of difficult to take out, but I don't think we'll have to if we can get this maneuvered the right way. However, I'm not sure that that's the size. Oh, what fun this is. I've got all kinds of extra wires on here for spraying duty. Can we get this in there? That would sure help me out. If we could maybe back that off with a... All right. It listened. Now really, yeah, it's just a clamp, so I shouldn't even have to take it all the way loose. Just force it up in the air. Which is not working. Maybe it's got a cutout in it. Maybe I need to take the bolt all the way out. I think it does have that. So, we might as well, you know. We might as well make it more difficult for ourselves. Sort of. Come on. There. Yep, that's all it was. I lost more pieces there. What was that? A rusty broken piece of metal. That's what it was. So, oh, there we go. There it fell to the... Alright. Now, that should pull up out of there. And that should let us... Well, as per usual, my brain shut off about the same time as the camera. I did get it, but I don't think I saved myself any work, as I destroyed some stuff in the process, like my start switch, which I don't think is hooked up anymore. And then I've got, it was actually on the other side, broke it off, and I also, I sawed this off to get that apart, and I poked a hole in the top of here. So that's pretty handy. If you want a good blade, get one of the Milwaukee blades, because it barely rubbed it and it punched a hole right through it. So that's great. We'll figure that out later. We can make it go. It's just a, you know, a welder will fix that, but it's just the idea of it. If I had taken more time, perhaps I could have done a better job. I'm going to have to actually clean this tractor off, I think, to get this apart. But I can get to it now, see? So if we pull the arms off here, I could just unbolt it from the tractor and lift it off of there. Or we could just pull these 4 bolts, and I think we can walk the thing up out of there, which is, I'm sure that the problem is on one of those bearings on either side of that. So I don't know. Maybe that's what we want to do. Maybe we want to take the whole thing off. It's obviously been leaking and it's time. So it wouldn't hurt to go through it and just make it the way it's supposed to be. So yeah, that's where we are. All right, it's raining, so that's nice. But I'm gonna go ahead and try to pull this top out of here. And just to see, I'm sure it's those bearings, but I looked up the parts and they're not that expensive really for seals. If it's just bearings and seals and a new steering wheel, I'll be in at about 200 bucks or so, a little more. And that's not bad, but I see it's gonna fight me at every turn, so I can't use that. Let's just go old school. And I'm definitely thinking about, I know it's supposed to have oil in it, but put a little bit of oil in it maybe, and then put in some of the old corn head grease or something, so I don't have to fool with stuff leaking out. Because let's face it, this gets neglected. Whoever checks their steering box oil? Probably not many people. Maybe we can switch to the impact now. Or not. Well, I thought we'd save some time and we aren't gonna do it. Oh, it's because I only got 1 bar of battery left. That's what. All right. Let's break them both loose. Yeah, when it's down to 1 bar, it loses power pretty quick. Yep. All right. Will it come out? It should. It should pull up out of there. In some variety. Or do I need to thread it up out of there? See what's happening here. This tube, I believe, should pull right off of this. But because it's so rusty, I don't know that it's gonna do that. Let me see if I can tap on that with a hammer. Is it just gonna go round and round? There. Maybe. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, I'm having so much trouble because I'm pretty sure you can pull that out of there by just holding it to the back of the. But I'm not getting that feeling. Maybe this one you can't pull it out without taking those sectors out. But I thought there was enough room once you loosen the top that you could get it pulled back and away. There's a lot of trouble in this tube though. I can hear that from the crunching. Yeah, I sure thought that it was possible for some reason that you could move it forward and pull that out of there, but I guess not. Makes sense. You wouldn't want it to do that in real life operation. Okay, enough screwing around. We'll just have to pull the rest of the stuff off. For luck, that is the right side. All right. Okay, probably a good time to get the old puller out again. That probably is not going to work though, because I don't see where I'm going to hook it on. Actually, this one might be. I just had a pry bar. It will. Alright, pry bar, I think we'll do it, and some tapping. And I can get those to walk off of there. Alright. Well, I like how the simplest project here. There. That worked out slick. Can you even see what I'm doing? Yeah. It's got a blind spline in it, so it shouldn't be a big to-do. Come on. I should probably go to the other side where I can maneuver. Come on. Whoa. Whoa. Come on. One side gonna be rested and the other side popped right off, huh? Oh, that one might have enough room to get the puller behind it. But I don't know why it can't just work. Let's see if there's just enough room. Come on, buddy. Let's have just enough room to get the puller in there. I don't think there is. Crud. This one's probably too small. Too small to do this. Why wouldn't it be, you know? Okay, come on. Everything's not going to line up now, as I figured. Oh, this is terrible. Come on. Well, that was cool. That was not at all the way I intended to do it. That wasn't really good for anything, but it worked. So if it works and it's stupid, is it really stupid? It didn't even ruin the threads on this. So, Yahtzee to us. That's a piece of felt. Little slop in the old gears, but that's to be expected. I really do want to take this to a table, but right now I'm just, for curiosity's sake, wanting to see the, you know, get this shaft pull out so I can see if it is the bearings or if there's, you know, some major catastrophe, like a shaft that's junk. Because if that's the case, we might as well just buy a new box. Alright. Hasn't looking like it's had a lot of oil in it for a long time. There does it. Now we can pull this out of there. Alright, I see the problem already. So the bottom bearing is great, because there is oil down in there still. However, this one, not so much. And that is our trouble, see? That's been getting no lubrication of any kind. And it's chucked a barrel sideways and what have you. That's working smooth as can be. Really, the only rusty parts are the parts that weren't in the oil, you know? that'll all clean up fine. So that's good news, because what that says to me is a couple bearings and the seal kit, a steering wheel, and you know, the whole shebang there. Just the rebuild parts. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna let that sit in there kind of halfway. Yeah. This top bearing kit, which that's gonna be a trick to get that out of there, it looks like, because it's totally garbaged, rusted to it. But the fire make it happener will cut that out of there if we have to. But that's good news, because that tells us that, like I said, I think all of our shaft and housing and everything is fine, because it does still have a little oil in it. It's just top bearing self-destructed from lack of lube. And actually looking at that, with that plug there, no, it would not go through to the bearing, because the hole comes out here below the bearing. But what I'm wondering is, before we put this together, if a guy couldn't make a grease fitting somewhere's out here, you know, where he could give that a little shot of grease every so often to get the top bearing, you know. I guess the splashing is supposed to do it, but it don't look like it's had much splashing action. So anyway, yeah, I'm happy. That's what I thought it was, but I figured I better tear it apart first to make sure. And you know, and then I think while I have it apart, I'm going to clean up these dash pieces and make them better. Maybe weld some new cages on here or something. You know, that's the kind of stuff we were fighting up under the hood here. So I don't know. We'll see about all that. Got to fix our air cleaner now, which is a dumb thing, but when you're working with limited brain cells, that's what happens. So anyway, I think this is as far as we're going to go today. I'll get parts ordered and we'll come back to it in the future. As always, if you enjoy my videos, give them a thumbs up. Leave a comment and tell me how dumb you think I am. Or if by some slim chance you liked it, say that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.